This is ABC7 News at 6. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Haley Wilkes. Thank you for joining us. It's the day after a Sarasota County Sheriff's deputy was arrested for some alleged crimes against an elderly woman.
People who live in the victim's neighborhood, Sarasota's Village Green, reacting to that arrest today. ABC7's Rick Adams spoke to the neighbors with more on what they're saying.
It's very shocking. I mean, you wonder how safe we really are now.
Linus Lindy and his wife live down the road from the 79-year-old woman who is allegedly the target of Sarasota County Sheriff's Deputy Frankie Bybee. Bybee is accused of stealing tens of thousands of dollars from the woman and trying to kill her at her Brockton Lane home after befriending her.
It's kind of disturbing that you'd think that somebody would come in here and try to take advantage of people.
As for another neighbor, Thomas Bowser, he tells us even though this Village Green neighborhood is safe and quiet, this alleged attack and abuse of an elderly woman at the hands of a sheriff's deputy doesn't completely surprise him.
Every neighborhood has something that's going to happen, so no, I'm not shaken to the core or anything like that.
Bybee is facing many charges, including attempted murder. He remains behind bars on more than $1 million bail. For people who live around here, they have only the best wishes for their neighbor.
Hang in there. The community supports you. We're with you, absolutely. As far as the accused, we'll see justice is served.
We just hope that she can recover and don't have any complications.
The victim did receive a little bit of bright news on Monday. Her dog JJ was staying with one of Bybee's co-workers and returned to the victim.
That was ABC7's Rick Adams reporting. Executives with the Atlanta Braves organization are in Sarasota County discussing plans to move the team's spring training to Northport. The complex will include 750 paved parking spaces and luxury suites. In exchange, the team must commit to sign a 30-year lease with annual payments to cover the stadium's debt. The West Villages agreed to donate the land and oversee the project's construction. The state will hopefully contribute $20 million from its spring training retention fund as well. Braves executives say they're optimistic about closing the deal soon.
Based on the conversations we've had, the interaction we've had with the county, with Mattamy, with all of the constituents in our deal, we feel very confident that we're going to get this done quickly and properly and spend the next glorious 30 years here in Sarasota County.
According to the county, funding for the complex will come from the tourist development dollars.
Some residents on Lido Key Beach say stormy weather the last couple of days has left them in a dire need for more sand. They say they can't wait for the Big Pass dredging project. ABC7's Ray Collins joins us from Lido Beach with more on the story tonight. Ray?
Scott, residents said one more big storm could put them over the edge and go from bad to worse, and they say that has happened the past couple of days. Here are some photos sent to us from residents along the Lido Beach sand. You can see the action during the storm and then afterwards. Water is right up there against the foundation. The city of Sarasota has plans with the Army Corps of Engineers to dredge 1 million cubic yards of sand from nearby Big Pass. But various groups on Siesta Key are filing suit to block that project. And while that all plays out, residents here say they need a Band-Aid solution, and fast.
The storm that came on Sunday, which was one of these storms out of the blue, hit a knockout punch really on Lido Beach. I was able to walk the beach at high tide Sunday, 10:30 in the morning at night, and it's actually a crying shame to see what's happened here. It's too late now to wait for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers project.
If you look down the beach, you can see folks watching the sunset, and you can see there's not a lot of land, not a lot of sand between that lifeguard shed and the waves, and this is not high tide. In fact, that's not until 9:30 this evening. There are two sides, of course, to every story. The Siesta Key Association and Save Our Siesta Sand are looking to block that dredging project. They fear if sand is taken from Big Pass, which, by the way, is just beyond the key before Siesta Key, they fear taking sand from there could ruin the flow of sand onto their beach and ruin what was America's top beach a few years ago. Back to you in the studio.
And Ray, are there any other possible short-term solutions for the problems there?
Well, some ideas being talked about out here, Scott, perhaps 4 feet of sandbags closer to the buildings to fend off some dangerous currents. Also, there's curiosity about the tourist development tax. 1 penny is set aside, which creates millions a year, for beach renourishment. Why can't that be used here? I put that question today to the county, and they said there's yet to be a request for that, so therefore they couldn't answer it. We'll have more tonight at 11. For now, I'm Ray Collins on Lido Key. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Ray.
All right. Pretty night out there on the beach for a sunset,
nice,
huh?
yeah.
Nice day here on the Suncoast. Let's get more on that with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Yeah, look good. The actual waves are around 2 to 4 feet there. They were as high as 7 to 8 feet yesterday. So things have calmed down, and it looks like it'll get even better tomorrow. The Van Wezel webcam looking out over Sarasota Bay. Things calming there. Beautiful sunset this evening as we take a look at it as it goes on down there below the horizon. Hardly any clouds to be found around our area, and that's a result of a large area of high pressure that continues to move on in. Well, that storm system which brought us all that nasty weather over the weekend is now causing all sorts of headaches with power outages and all sorts of advisories, and ice storm into Vermont, New Hampshire, wind advisories all along the eastern seaboard from Maine down southward into New Jersey tonight with some heavy rainfall there. For us, a different story. We may see some fog forming late tonight, especially inland. Some of that fog can be rather thick at times. It will be patchy. It's not going to be a widespread event, but it'll be around. And then we'll look for a delightful day tomorrow with winds out of the south. Temperatures will warm into the mid-70s. More on that in a few minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Suncoast Congressman Vern Buchanan is hopeful a new office in China will make a dent in the deadly opioid epidemic plaguing the Suncoast. The Drug Enforcement Administration plans to open a new office in the city of Guangzhou and will likely be staffed with 2 special agents. According to Buchanan, China is the primary source for fentanyl and other synthetic drugs coming into the U.S. Fentanyl is similar to heroin, but 50 times more powerful. Buchanan is also co-sponsoring legislation that requires increased screening at U.S. Postal Service facilities.
A group of lawmakers are backing a proposed ban on drilling for oil and natural gas in Florida. The method has been controversial. The bill comes after a heavy debate during the 2016 legislative session about a measure that would have created a regulatory framework for fracking in the state. The House passed the measure, but it died in the Senate. One state senator from Gainesville is co-sponsoring this proposal.
What we do today is not for us, but it's for the next generation. And this kind of legislation protecting the natural environment that we all enjoy and need to save that for future generations is should be one of our top priorities as we go forward in this session.
The bill will be considered during this year's legislative session, which begins March 7th. Still to come in your Suncoast News tonight, new developments in a park shooting in Florida. Miami police talking about its search for the suspects.
And efforts in the state to give young offenders a second chance after committing a crime.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, AND services.com.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
An ideologue. I am an originalist.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com. AND services.com.
A follow-up now to a shooting at a Florida park on Martin Luther King Day. 2 teenagers have been arrested on attempted murder charges in connection with a shooting at a Miami park following the city's annual parade on MLK Day. Miami-Dade police say the 2 teens will face attempted second-degree murder and firearms charges. 8 people were hurt when the gunfire broke out last Monday. The victims are recovering from non-life-threatening injuries.
A Senate proposal aimed at keeping young offenders out of the criminal justice system got off to a rocky start, but successful start this week. Some Republicans and law enforcement officials are concerned about that proposal. The Senate Criminal Justice Committee approving the measure on a 5-2 vote. The bill would require counties to have programs and would require law enforcement officers to issue citations if children commit a nonviolent misdemeanor for the first time. Supporters say programs that issue civil citations to young offenders and then send them to pretrial diversion programs can help these kids and teens avoid being marked for the rest of their lives.
Every time they apply for a college, if they are able to make it that far, they have to disclose that. If they are applying for a job, they have to disclose that. And we know that unfortunately what that means is that more often than not, their application for college, for a job is simply going to be turned around.
Children in diversion programs are required to do community service and then receive counseling. The programs are either in place or are being put in place in 62 of Florida's 67 counties. Both Sarasota and Manatee counties already have pretrial services available for young offenders.
Bob will be back with your full weather forecast after this.
The agents at SWC would like to show you pictures of all the homes that they've sold quickly for their clients. But they're just too many to show. Contact SWC today and find out for yourself. We just market your home better.
Gold fever is at an all-time high in the Sunshine State with the new Gold Rush Doubler family of scratch-off games. Everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. With over $1 billion in total cash prizes. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Start the year off with a great deal during the Start Something New event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Ram trucks are built tough and have plenty of power to handle any job with all the comfort you'd expect in a luxury vehicle. And right now, all 2016 quad cabs are over 20% off with new Ram trucks starting at just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Florida Studio Theater presents the regional premiere of Clever Little Lies, now playing in the Keating Theater. Secrets are exposed and clever little lies are crafted in this fast-paced comedy by Joe DiPietro. Shattering and hilarious, Clever Little Lies is a story of long-term love and marriage, for better and for worse. Don't miss what critics are calling lively with big reveals and surefire comedy. Clever Little Lies is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Well, just in time for Severe Weather Awareness
Yes.
Week, we've had our share this week.
We had it this weekend, so let's get to the next one today. Yesterday was lightning. Today it is rip currents, and rip currents are very dangerous. Get a load of this. Yesterday I said there were 38 deaths nationally from rip currents. Well, 80 nationally of rip current, I should say lightning yesterday, 80 in rip currents nationally in 2016. It's this area of water that's not breaking. You see it right there. It's hard to distinguish. It's a fast stream of water moving out to the Gulf. You can get caught into it. What you're supposed to do is not panic for one. Try to swim out of the rip current and then back to the coast. If you can't, just kind of ride it out as best you can, but still swim parallel to the coast at the same time, and then eventually get back to where the waves are breaking. So that's a very dangerous situation. There's 17 deaths as a result of rip currents in Florida last year. That's more than lightning that occurred here in the state, too. And most of those were along the East Coast, where a lot of surfing is usually done. Weather headlines for us read like this: a cold front late Thursday, and then a cooler weekend ahead with some showers on Sunday. This next cold front, though, not going to produce any rough weather like we just saw with the last one. 65 degrees. Dew point is comfortable, 55. Winds are out of the northwest at 7. And the high today did manage to get to 72, 1 degree above the average of 71. This morning's low was at 59 degrees. We'll be a few degrees below that tomorrow. No rainfall to report. We're not anticipating a lot of rain with the next fronts. We'll see how that plays out. But 65 degrees in Tallahassee right now, 61 in Jacksonville, and 68 in Orlando, in the mid-70s in Miami right now, 76 degrees there. Mid to upper 60s right near the coast, still into the low 70s in Sebring, Arcadia, and Lake Placid. The Gulf water temperature now 69 degrees and expected to drop down significantly over the weekend as a result of a couple of fronts, though. 55 for the low tonight. There will be some fog forming that could be rather thick in some areas, so keep that in mind as we move through time, especially late tonight and tomorrow morning. Well, Futurecast is indicating a large area of high pressure has moved in behind that front, and that means we're looking at generally fair skies tonight. Fair skies, light winds will allow that fog to form and temperatures dropping down to near the dew point. Here comes the next front. There's not much to it. The low pressure area is well to the north, so there won't be a tremendous amount of lift with this, but we will see a thin line of showers start to develop with it and some increasing clouds on Thursday morning. You'll notice that the rain, though, is not all that impressive on this particular model as it moves on through. A chance for showers comes late Thursday and into Friday morning. Eventually, another chance for showers as the secondary front will move through. Well, the nor'easter continues to cause all sorts of problems here from Maine down into Vermont, New Hampshire, and into eastern portions of New York. Some snow falling near Ottawa. And temperature in Boston, 37 degrees, 33 in Buffalo. Temperatures are not extremely cold there, so most of the precipitation was rain today. 20 in Rapid City, 51 in Wichita. Dallas now at 78, in Houston at 73 degrees, and 58 in Atlanta. 63 at Myrtle Beach. Now, the forecast, as far as temperatures go, it's going to stay pretty cold to the north of us. We're going to stay rather warm here. Mid-70s tomorrow, even some upper 70s on Thursday before the cool air arrives and winter returns. Southeast winds 5 to 10 knots. Out on the water is a light to moderate chop. The water temperature now at 69 degrees. Tides upcoming. High tide will be at 9:31. And the forecast tonight, some patchy fog. Mostly fair. Seasonal temperatures, mid-50s, some lower 50s well inland. Tomorrow, some morning fog burning off, then 75. Winds out of the south at 5 to 10. The extended forecast looks to be pretty good, although a chance for showers late Thursday. Will cool down on Saturday and Sunday with a 60% chance for rain. Just showers on Sunday. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. More weather threats today with a powerful storm still hammering the northeast.
Overnight, the deadly system knocked out power to more than 35,000 customers. More people experiencing heavy wind, rain, flooding, and even snow. ABC's Elizabeth Hur is in New York with more.
Punishing winds and giant waves slamming the coastal towns in New England overnight.
This is nothing. We'll lose power, but we won't flood. 30 years, I get the hang of it.
But longtime residents not too worried. Even in areas hit with winter weather, saying they are prepared.
It gets real slippery out here if you don't salt it down.
The storm system pounding their area today had been on the move since the weekend. On Monday, turning deadly in Pennsylvania. dangerous and destructive in New York and New Jersey. The heavy wind and rain flooding streets and toppling trees onto houses.
3 houses in a row. One came down at about 5 a.m. We heard it and it woke us up.
The same storm killed at least 20 more people in the South, most of the victims in Georgia, where tornadoes wiped out neighborhoods and this woman lost her sister and friend.
But I know she had to be scared, and I'm so glad she wasn't alone.
The mayor of Adel, Georgia, is now promising to rebuild.
I've never seen the outpouring of love and support in any community as I've seen in the last day and a half.
In the meantime, if you are traveling today in New England or across the Northeast for that matter, forecasters say plan ahead and expect delays because the storm is sticking around for another day. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Hi, I'm Linda Carson. Coming up, we'll introduce you to an amazing Suncoast woman. You will not believe what this woman has been through.
Tomorrow, the first interview. President Trump, David Muir, no questions off limits. The exclusive breaks first tomorrow on World News Tonight with David Muir. Then tomorrow night from inside the White House, President Trump, the historic first interview at 10/9 Central on ABC.
When caring for my wife alone became too much for me, I called my long-term care insurance company to get help from granny nannies. Now the most wonderful nurses help me with her care.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Robotic surgery is changing medicine. The robot has better vision than a human. You can see 10 times better magnification than the human eye, but it takes a human eye to run the machine. In fact, it takes multiple human eyes to treat a patient. We've perfected the team, we've perfected the procedure, and the more experienced the team, the better the quality outcome.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
Get the new year off to a great start with safety and peace of mind. Subaru was named the 2016 Best Overall Brand, Most Trusted, and Best Performance Brand by Kelley Blue Book. And ALG named Subaru its top mainstream brand for residual value for 2016. Now you can lease a new Subaru Outback for just $229 a month or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
We are going to build a great society where no man or woman are the victim of fear or poverty or hatred, where every man and woman has a chance for fulfillment and prosperity and hope.
Mom needed more care than we could provide, so we called Granny Nannies. She now has around-the-clock caregivers, and we have peace of mind. Thanks to them, she's where she belongs, at home.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
The people who amaze and inspire us are not those people who maybe breeze through life with little difficulty. It's those who overcome great hardship.
Very true. ABC7's Linda Carson introduces us to a Suncoast woman who has endured great pain with grace, poise, and dignity. Linda.
Kitty Winthrop was the only child of two adoring parents, and then World War II hit. Her father was called away for the war effort, and Kitty's world became a place of extreme danger. Winthrop was 11 years old when Germany attacked London during the Second World War.
All the school children the government wanted them to be evacuated to the country because they felt that the first day of the war, London would be bombed and everybody would be killed, especially the children.
So Kitty was put on a train without her mother and sent away.
Well, they told us the day before, tomorrow you're going, you bring one change of underwear, your school uniform, and you don't know where you're going.
Young Kitty was miserable in her new location, so she ran away back to London and endured the bliss with her mother.
And my mother and I were petrified.
The devastation was terrible, but finally the war ended. Kitty and her friends hurried to Buckingham Palace that day to join the celebration. The king spoke to the crowd, and then Winston Churchill.
And he came out with his cigar, and shall I say it the way I usually end this thing?
Sure.
Ladies, he was always drunk. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you and God for saving this nation.
She met her husband Ralph at a family Passover. He was visiting from Canada. When he went home, their romance continued by mail. Finally,
then he sent me my ticket, and that was the beginning of the end, shall we say.
They'll soon celebrate their 58th wedding anniversary. They had 2 children.
My daughter is now 54, and my son was in a car accident 30 years ago. He was 17.
And there was more pain to follow. 17 years ago, she fell downstairs.
And I fell on my face, 16 concrete steps down. And that was the end of that.
She'd lost her sight.
Ralph said, I came home and said, I have to get on with it.
And get on with it she did. She wrote a book about her life called I'm Not Going Back, and she's writing a book about her son. And her life lesson?
I think you have to get on with it. I think also I'm in denial, as I said, for a lot of things. And maybe when you're in denial, you can get on with it.
This is Kitty's book, I'm Not Going Back. It was first self-published, then a publisher picked it up. It's now in its 3rd printing. The story of a woman who refuses to give up. She's quite a lady.
Yes, she is. Thank you, Linda. Have a great evening.